Out in the vast depths of space. A place where no one can hear you scream, or so they say. Where myriad dangers lurk among the stars. Samus Aran returns from her latest mission, alongside the BSL ship. Where will she be going next? What mysterious journeys await her? Looks like there's an asteroid field up ahead. And, going off course a bit. Going off course a lot, and... well, that ends things pretty quickly, doesn't it? Of course, if it ended just like that, we wouldn't have this Let's Play. Welcome to Metroid Fusion. Something of a different game. It sacrifices the exploration usually shown in the Metroid series and adds a lot more narrative. Some people do find this a problem, but the way the game is built actually adds quite a lot to it, I feel. The incredible sense of atmosphere and ambience, the brilliant sound direction and the great design for all the levels actually makes quite an impact as far as I'm concerned. Let's get right into it. Now, I won't be using save stations as part of the regular runs. I'll save in between episodes, but not on screen. Anyway, we'll begin things right here. I'd been assigned to watch over Biologics' research team, so I once again found myself on the surface of SR388. For those of you who haven't played it, this planet appeared in Metroid 2: The Return of Samus. You can also see it, in Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. This is the homeworld of the Metroids. That little critter is a Hornode, but very different from what you'd know if you'd played Metroid 2 or Samus Returns. And that is Danger. It was there that I was attacked by a life form I had never encountered before. It was only later that I learned the identity of my attacker, the parasitic organism we now know as X. Unaware of my condition, I was returning to the station when disaster struck. Once the X had infested my central nervous system, I lost consciousness and my ship drifted into an asteroid belt. Obviously, she couldn't quite beat the 3,720 to 1 odds. Suppose it is a bit hard to do that when you're unconscious. The ship's emergency systems automatically ejected the escape pod before impact. Biologics' vessel recovered it and transported me to Galactic Federation HQ. However, during the journey, the X multiplied within me, corrupting large areas of my power suit. Doesn't look very nice indeed, does it? It then came to light that the organic components of my power suit had become so integrated with my system that it could not be removed while I was unconscious. Large portions of my suit had to be surgically removed, dramatically altering my physical appearance. However, the X in my central nervous system were too embedded to be removed safely. I was given a minimal chance of survival. Interestingly, later games have actually contradicted this in the way Samus's suit works. Zero Mission does a bit, but Metroid Other M especially does. Then, someone found a cure. They proposed using a Metroid cell to make an anti-X vaccine. It seems that the Federation had managed to preserve a cell culture from the last infant Metroid from SR388, The one you find at the end of Metroid 2 and the titular Super Metroid. The serum was prepared and injected without delay. The X-parasites were immediately and completely destroyed. You may fire when ready. And Samus is rocking some funky new threads. She has very broad shoulders, it seems. As for me, one life ended, yet I survived, reborn as something different. Pondering this fact, I realize I owe the Metroid hatchling my life twice over. 3 times, if you count the events of Samus Returns. As to why, I'm not going to tell you.
We'll soon be arriving at the BSL research station. I must prepare for docking.
The ship's computer has notified me of our approach to the Biologic Space Labs, or BSL research station. During my surgery, the research team sent the last batch of creatures we captured there, as well as the infected pieces of my power suit. After regaining consciousness, I learned that an unexplained explosion rocked the station. For some reason, this awoke a nameless fear in my heart, and now I am being sent there to investigate. My mission on the BSL station will be overseen by my new ship's computer. Following the commands of this blunt computerized CO is something I have to bear, as it was a condition of my taking the ship. For someone who dislikes taking orders, this is the second time I've found myself having to do so. Makes me recall my other CO. Speaking of that other CO, I'm probably not going to be giving Other M much credit. While it did have some pretty good gameplay elements, and in that sense was fairly solid, it tried too much to be like Fusion and didn't quite work. It feels like a bit of a knockoff of that at times, and the less said about the characterization, the better. And of course certain game mechanics.
There's been an explosion in the quarantine bay. The bay currently stores capsules containing recent samples from SR-388 as well as parts of your suit infected by the X-parasites. The cause of the explosion is as yet unclear. Investigate. The quarantine bay is here. Move quickly and quietly. You are still unable to use most of your latent abilities. Don't forget that, Samus. Stop at the navigation room on the way. Uplink from there. Is your objective clear? Now, go to the quarantine bay.
Seems simple enough. We have control of Samus. Left and right will move you. A jumps. B shoots. L to aim up diagonally. L and down to aim down diagonally. Up to shoot straight up. Down to crouch. We head through the station with the eerie quiet surrounding us. Let's note a couple of things before we proceeded. That door back there is a level 4 security hatch. We can't open that just yet. We can also grab onto ledges just by jumping at them. When we're holding onto a ledge, you can't do particularly much, but there are special ladders you'll be able to hold onto. We've made it to the navigation room.
The quarantine bay is ahead. Biosigns are confirmed. Be careful.
So we have something to look out for. We can't go into this door yet. The music is certainly making us feel a little uneasy. And there's very good reason to be. This area was damaged by an explosion, but it's something fierce. And those containment tanks have all been destroyed. There we can see a Hornode. And one of the parasites that infected us earlier. This does not look good. Whatever was in there certainly isn't there anymore. Quickly get back to the navigation room and report.
This is unfortunate news. The specimens brought back by the field team were infected by X parasites. The X can mimic its prey. Any specimen could have hosted it. Before the explosion, a security sensor scanned one. The gelatinous X parasites invade and rapidly reproduce, killing the host creature. They also absorb DNA and use it to mimic the host. You were almost killed by an X infection. Only the Metroid vaccine saved your life. It seems Metroids were the main predators of the X. That's why the vaccine worked so quickly and so well. But it has also changed your cellular makeup. You will never be infected by X again. In fact, you can now absorb any free-floating X parasites without a host by merely touching them. This will allow you to replenish health and restore weapons. You may also restore latent abilities this way, so pursue free X parasites whenever you possibly can. This station is home to many species, some violent ones. We must keep the X out of the breeding environments at all costs. This is vital, Samus. I am already detecting massive biosigns in this region. The X are gathering. This may be our chance to exterminate them, but you're only at 10% battle capacity. Your chance of survival is extremely low. The Federation needs you alive and on duty, Samus. Is your objective clear? Now, get going. I have released the lock on level 0 hatches. Look for the blinking hatches.
We can't head back this way just yet. So we'll have to make it through here. With almost incongruously happy music. If we head up here, we can see some level 2 hatches. Now, Hornodes can spit acid at you. So be careful with that. We're not using the save rooms. This might admittedly backfire on me, because I know I'm not exactly great at this game. So we'll just sort of see what happens. I'm trying to do research so I avoid stumbling around. And there's one of our dead scientists. And a zombie scientist. Infected by the X directly. Those humans have been reduced to essentially a puddle of goo. Their slime-like bodies appear to have the lab coat integrated within them. They're very easy to dispatch but can be infected by any free-floating X parasites. Down there, that obstacle can be destroyed by missiles, which we don't have yet. We will, however, have to stall for some more exposition.
I have received news from HQ. They can support you with downloadable weapons data. Once you have this data, you'll be able to use missiles. This will help against some enemies your beam can't hurt. Head to the data room for the download. The data room is here.
So, data rooms are marked with D on the map. Navigation rooms, as you probably saw, are N, S for save rooms, and R for recharge rooms, which top up your health and missiles.
Is your objective clear? With missiles, your chance of survival climbs to 20%.
Glad to know they think so highly of us. Mind you, my chance of survival might fluctuate. Looks like there's a little vending machine there or something. So if we hang around here, sometimes we can see X float in and infect them. We can't do anything about here, but just a quick demonstration. Head up here. And we will head up the elevator. With more exposition. That computer reminds me of a gruff Federation CEO I served under named Adam Malkovich. He called me Lady on missions. From anyone else it would have sounded sarcastic, but Adam made it sound dignified. Out of respect, and with some irony, I named the computer after him. The less said about Adam Malkovich in Other M, the better. Seriously. Anyway, we have nearly made it to the data room. You'll have your save and recharge room down there. And we'll move up here to head through the nav room. And our data room. When you find these, you'll be able to get some new weapons. And we have missiles. Quick explanation of how to fire them. And as we head out, of course the power goes out. Just great.
Electrical interference has knocked out the elevators on the main deck. This may be related to the X. I'll work on it. As for you, try to find another way to the target. It's located here. I'm reading huge bioscience, so I hope your missiles work. To reload missiles, you can use a recharge room or absorb a special type of X parasite. You'll see them. Try it out. Is your objective clear? Missiles are your only hope. Don't hesitate to use them. Now, find a way to the target.
So, if we head over here, we can see, just by jumping up here, quick glimpse of a level 4 hatch. If we head over here, gee, I wonder what we have to do. So, that's blasted that open. And with all the exposition out of the way, it's a good time to wrap things up for the first episode of Metroid Fusion. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe out in space, everyone.